Welcome back, guys, to another episode of GNA Real Estate Explained. And today we are bringing you another new launch review of Treasure at Tampines.
Yes, that launched 5 years ago.
5 years ago?
Yeah.
Then what are we doing today?
So today we actually have a new episode called the Price It series, where we're going to be reviewing newly TOP projects on how much your unit is valued at in the current market.
Price It series. Okay, so who is this series for?
So this is called the Price It series, where we actually value how much your unit is in the current market. So specifically today, we are going to be doing it for Treasure at Tampines owners. Whether or not you're a homeowner in Treasure at Tampines or a buyer looking for a home in Treasure at Tampines, stay tuned to see how much the unit is valued in the current market.
Alright, and if you are neither an owner of Treasure at Tampines, nor are you looking to buy Treasure at Tampines, but you're just curious, feel free to stay, right? Otherwise, we'll catch you at the next one.
Yes.
Sorry, yeah. Okay, so let's look right into Treasure at Tampines. And congratulations, of course, to all the owners, right? Famously, you guys have made a lot of money.
Whenever I meet with a lot of these investors and I ask them whether or not they've heard of Treasure at Tampines, they always say, yes, it's a what project? It's a what project? Okay, so let's take a look at how much some of these units have performed in the current market. Now, let's take a look at the project information of Treasure at Tampines. So, site area, we're looking at a mega project at 65,232 square meters.
Right.
Tenure is 99 years from 29 November 2018. And 2,203 units.
Yes.
TOP in about 2023, around Q2 of 2023, so about a year and a half already.
Yeah, and today,
And
I think
yes.
congratulations to you guys. Also, again, because you've beaten the last mega projects like Diliden, right? And now you're like the biggest development in Singapore.
Yes, with 29 blocks of 12 stories. So the developer behind this is Sim Lian, who also built Emerald of Katong, which was also a crazy performing project just in November, December last year.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at the unit mix. So the units in Treasure at Tampines ranges from 1 bedroom all the way to 5 bedrooms. Now let's take a look at the unit mix of Treasure at Tampines. So the units there range from 1 bedroom all the way to 5 bedrooms. And the units there for 1 bedroom plus 1 plus study, it's about 10% of the total unit size. And the 2 bedroom plus study, and the 2 bedroom premium is about 33%. 3 bedroom and 3 bedroom premium is about 35%. 4 bedroom and 4 bedroom premium is about 16%. And the 5 bedroom is only 5%. So we can see over here that the lease supply is for the 4 bedroom and the 5 bedroom units.
So I think the thing on everyone's minds would be which unit like made the most money, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So now let's take a look at the location before we go into the unit size performance. So Treasure at Tampines is located actually nearby, closer to Simi MRT as compared to Tampines MRT. And it's also nearby to the Tampines Round Market. Actually, at that time, a lot of people were saying, hey, Treasure at Tampines is so huge and it's so ulu, there's nothing there. Actually, in terms of convenience, you are walking distance to Simi MRT and you are actually sheltered all the way.
Yes.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry about, not having an MRT station nearby, because you can take the bus that goes straight to Tampines MRT or you can actually walk directly from the side gate to Simi MRT. In terms of food, there's also plenty of food in the area with Tampines Round Market nearby. We were selling a client's listing and the mom doesn't even want to move because she loves the Tampines Round Market so much.
Actually, it's quite rare to be near like a traditional wet market.
Yeah. Yeah, for your groceries, for your food, it's really convenient actually. All right. Now let's take a look at the site plan. So Treasure at Tampines has different facings. You have units facing the PIE, which is the slip road. And honestly, for buyers out there who's actually not very noise sensitive, actually it's not too bad. I personally felt like it wasn't too bad.
Yeah. In fact, there are some people who prefer the PIE facing rather than the inward facing units.
Because of privacy.
Yes. The inward facing units, I think you've mentioned before, right? That it faces right into your neighbor's condo. So it's a give and take.
Yeah. So we have sold units there where the units are facing PIE. We also have sold units where it's facing towards the pool. And there are buyers out there who are specifically only looking for PIE facing because they love the privacy, because there's no other units or no other projects right in front of you.
Yes.
As compared to the one that's pool facing, you are facing your neighbors directly. But of course, the plus point is you're quieter. So it depends on what your priority is, whether or not you want privacy or you want something that's quiet. Yeah. All right. Now let's take a look at how much each unit performed from the past 5 years, since 2019 all the way till 2025.
Yes, let's talk numbers.
Yes, numbers. So On average, for Treasure at Tampines in 2019 versus 2025, the average PSF for Treasure at Tampines back then was at 1,336 PSF.
And it's considered high, right, for that time?
Yes, at that time, everyone was saying, new launch, so crazy, it's so high, who's going to buy?
Yeah.
But right now, you can see now Treasure at Tampines on average is about 1,735 PSF.
Yes, I remember on launch day of Treasure at Tampines, only 8% of Treasure at Tampines was sold.
Yes.
Yeah.
And everyone always says that, if let's say the take-up rate is slow, does that mean that it's not going to profit in the future because there's no demand? But we have seen that the performance or the take-up rate for the project does not determine the profitability. Ultimately, it's about the entry price.
Yes.
So now, let's take a look at the one bedroom. So overall, the Treasure at Tampines units have increased by 29% from 2019 till 2025. If we take a look at the unit sizes, so for one bedroom, it performed an additional 22% since launch. And the one plus study about 23%.
Okay.
Okay. Let's take a look at two bedrooms. So the two bed, one bath increased by 27% and the two bed, two bath increased by 23%. Now, we are seeing that the numbers are getting higher and higher. So for 3-bed compact, increased by 34%, and the 3-bedroom premium increased by 35%. Now, let's take a look at the 4-bedroom compact. So 4-bedroom compact increased by 35%, and the 4-bedroom premium increased by 33%. Yes, sometimes people out there say, you know what, you should buy a bigger unit. Ultimately, it's about affordability on whether or not it's something that is comfortable for you. Because we have seen that in terms of percentage-wise, actually the 3-bedroom and the 4-bedroom increase about the same percentage. But of course, the difference is the net proceeds that you're going to get back. Because the more you invest, the more you get back. But in terms of percentage, you're looking at about a similar percentage increase of about 35% for both 3-bedroom compact, premium, as well as the 4 bedrooms.
So premium price does not necessarily mean premium profits.
Yes. Ultimately, it's about the units you select as well that determines how much you're going to profit in the future. So this is where our investment team would come in to advise you accordingly if you're looking for an investment home. Now, let's look at which unit size is the most what.
Okay.
So if we take a look at the 5-bedroom increased by 39.97%, almost 40% since launch. So if we take a look at the unit size performance by unit sizes in Treasure at Tampines, we can see that the 5-bedroom increased the most.
Yeah. So actually, does buying a bigger or smaller unit matter in investments?
Yes. So if we take a look at the performance for the unit sizes in Treasure at Tampines, we have seen that the 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom and the 5-bedroom profited more than the 1 and 2 bedders. And this is also because if we take a look at the supply in Treasure at Tampines, 4-bedroom and 5-bedroom had the least supply. So when you're actually selling in the market, you are actually getting lesser competition. As compared to the 1 and 2 bedders, the demand is not as high as the supply in the project. So this is where we see that it's easier to command a higher price when there's lesser competition in the project. And we have also seen, depending on region, we have also noticed that bigger unit sizes do actually profit more. We can share this in more detail with you if you're looking for investment. But today, we want to see how much these units have transacted in the current market. And if let's say you're looking to sell your place, how much is your unit valued at depending on facing and depending on the unit size?
Yes, show us.
All right. So for the 1-bedroom and the 1-bedroom plus study, we have seen that currently the average for 1-bedroom is about $797,000 at about 1,723 PSF. And for the 1-bedroom plus study, people are wondering, 1-bedroom plus study, the price should be higher. But we are seeing that 792K is actually lower than the price of 1-bedders. So if we take a look at the 1-bedder is sized at about 463 square feet. Average about $797,000. The highest transacted was for Stack 188 for $810,000. And if we take a look at the 1-bedroom plus study, the size is about 484 square feet, averaging about $792,000. Size-wise, actually, it looks bigger.
Yeah, right? Why does it look bigger?
So in terms of size, it's 484 square feet. But now let's take a look at the floor plan as well as the facing to see why is it that the 1 plus study is at about the same price as the 1-bedders. So taking a look at the 1-bedders, the facing or the units that have been transacted, some of them are facing the pool. There's one that's facing towards the HDB, towards the community center. And there's one that's facing towards the slip road. If we take a look at whether or not there's any slight difference in terms of pricing, the highest is for the pool facing unit at Stack 188. Let's see how much difference there is for the PIE facing versus the pool facing unit. So So stack 141 transacted at $790,000, which was for the PIE facing, versus stack 188, which is facing the pool. So that's about 20K difference. And for stack 40, that's facing towards the community center, stack 40 transacted at $803,000. So the price difference is about 10K for the one that's facing towards the HDB and 20K for the one that's facing towards the pool.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that there's a slight premium for the pool facing as compared to the road facing and the PIE facing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we are seeing that the stack 40 transacted at slightly higher than the PIE facing, and the pool facing transacted at the highest $810,000. Now let's take a look at the 1 Plus study. So we are seeing that the average for the 1 Plus study has transacted an average of $792,000. So if we take a look at the facing, all of these are facing towards the slip road of the PIE. Now, let's take a look at the floor plan difference.
Yeah, I'm really interested to know why the 1 Plus study is cheaper than the one.
Because people are always thinking, Plus study, and then that means it should be bigger, there should be more value in the market.
Yeah.
But if we take a look at the difference here, the 1 bedroom has a slightly wider dining and kitchen area. And for the 1 Plus study, even though it's 484 square feet, it may seem like in terms of size, it looks like it's bigger than the 1 bedder.
Yeah.
But in terms of floor plan, actually, if you see the yellow highlighted area here, most of the size or the difference actually goes to the hallway.
So maybe only beneficial for people with a lot of shoes.
Yeah.
They want a really long
maybe
shoe
for
cabinet.
people with a lot of shoes, you're selling your shoes, a fashionista, maybe this is something that's suitable for you.
Yeah.
But otherwise, this 1 bedder here, in terms of size, actually it's, in terms of efficiency of space, you actually have a bigger dining and living area as compared to the 1 Plus study.
Interestingly, if you look at the study, it's really tiny, yeah?
Yeah. It's kind of like a mini indoor balcony that you have in your master bedroom. But yes, so for buyers out there or for sellers out there who's looking to sell your unit here, this is important to take note of because then you would know where the difference is for buyers who's looking at your place. Now let's take a look at the 2 bedders, 2 bed 1 bath, as well as a 2 bed 2 bath. So for the 2 bed 1 bath, the average transacted price is about 1.03 million. And for the 2 bed 2 bath, it's about 1.13 million. So we're seeing that maybe for the additional bathroom, the difference is about 100K.
It's quite important to some families.
Yes.
Right?
So some families do value the additional bathroom, especially we have sold some units for a 2 bed 2 bath before. And some of these buyers, why they want a 2 bed 2 bath is because they want to rent out their second bedroom.
That's true.
And this would help them have their own bathroom as compared to a shared bathroom. Yeah. But of course, we still do see mostly they're actually couples or singles.
Yeah.
And sometimes they just want to have a second bathroom. If they have guests over, they don't have to share the bathroom.
That's right.
So let's take a look at how much the units at 2 bed 1 bath has transacted for. So units for 2 bed 1 bath ranges in terms of size is about 581 square feet to 592 square feet. And in terms of pricing, we are seeing that the average is about 1.03 million. That's the highest in 2025. But in 2024, we are seeing that the units ranged from around 930K to 980K.
Right. So what about the 2 bed 2 bath?
The 2 bed 2 bath in terms of size ranges from 614 square feet to 678 square feet. And the 2 bed 2 bath has different layouts. So I'll share that with you guys later on. But let's take a look at how much these units have transacted at.
Yeah.
So we are seeing that the 2 bed 2 bath has transacted at about 1.1 to 1.2 million in terms of average price. And on average, it's about 1.13 million. In terms of facing, this is really important to take note of because different facings, buyers actually value your units differently. So for the 2 bed 1 bath, you have stack 20 that is facing towards the community center that transacted at 1.03 million recently. So that's the most recent transactions. And before that was stack 13, which was the stack right beside that transacted at 930K. And then we also have stack 136 that's pool facing, transacting at 930K. And stack 45 that's also pool facing that transacted at 975K. So we are seeing over here that even though your unit is not pool facing for stack 20, you're actually able to command a higher price than the pool facing units.
So we are saying that the layout is probably more important in this case than the facing?
Sometimes layout plays a part, but at the same time, it's also about how you market the unit, how you get the buyers to perceive your unit, how you bring out the value, and also what are some of the supplies in the current market during that time when the listing is sold. So let's take a look at the difference in the 2 layouts over here. So we have 2 bed 1 bath at 581 square feet, and we also have the 2 bed 1 bath at 592 square feet. If we take a look at the difference here, the difference is that one has a slightly bigger or longer kitchen as compared to the 581 square feet.
Really slightly.
Very minimal difference.
Yeah, like 2 feet.
Yes. So sometimes this doesn't really matter to a lot of buyers. Sometimes if layouts like this, there's a minimal difference. We are seeing that in the current market, people value the facing or the floor level more.
Yeah.
Unless like you're looking at 600 square feet to 500 square feet, then maybe there's a huge difference there.
Yes.
Now let's take a look at the 2-bed, 2-bath transactions. So we have an average of 1.13 million for the 2-bed, 2-bath units. Sizes range from 614 square feet all the way to 678 square feet. And some of these transactions are facing towards the small road and Tampines Lane. You have some of them that's facing towards the PIE, and you have some of them that's facing towards the pool.
So I see a range of sizes here from 657 square feet, 678 square feet, 656 square feet. So what's the difference between like all the layouts of these floor plans?
Some of these have enclosed kitchen, but I'll share with you guys later on the specific difference for each of this layout over here.
Okay, great.
If we take a look at the recent transaction for Stack 115 that transacted at 1.17, that is facing towards the small road at Tampines Lane, so it's not too noisy. We have Stack 177, 678 square feet that transacted at 1.1 million. So Stack 177 is facing towards the PIE Slip Road. We have Stack 201 that is facing towards the pool that also transacted 1.11 million. So actually not too far off from the PIE facing unit.
Yeah.
And then we have Stack 168 that's also facing towards the PIE that transacted 1.2 million, which is higher than the pool facing unit.
Yeah. I see that's the highest.
Yes, that is the highest. And then we have Stack 66 that is facing towards the pool that transacted 1.17. And Stack 03 that is facing towards the community center that transacted 1.19.
Okay.
So we are seeing over here that actually some of these transactions, people are still willing to pay about the same price, whether or not it's for pool facing or whether or not it's for the PIE facing.
Yeah.
Again, I think it goes back to the buyer on what they prefer, whether or not they prefer something that's facing their neighbor or they prefer something that's facing towards the PIE. Yes, it may be slightly noisier, but you get a better privacy.
Yeah. Different folks, different strokes.
Yes. And they are willing to pay the premium. Even though at the start when they first bought this unit or when the owners first bought this unit, actually developers charged the premium to the pool facing unit because they know that it's going to be quieter as compared to the PIE facing. So maybe we can do a review one day on who actually made more in terms of actual profits, whether or not the PIE facing made more or the pool facing made more.
That's true.
Now let's take a look at the different floor plans for the 2-bed, 2-bath. So you have over here the 657 square feet versus 678 square feet. There's two type of floor plans for the 678. Actually, there's even more. But the recent transactions for the 678 square feet are these two floor plans here. So the 657 versus the 678, the main difference is actually in the width of the living room.
And every little bit really helps. That's like 2 feet difference, but I think it can make your living room look a lot bigger.
Yes. So the 678 square feet, it is a little wider, but for the 657, it's a little longer for the living area. Versus the one that's on the most right for the 678 is a completely different layout from the 2 bedrooms on the 2 left side over here. And actually how this 678 square feet unit stands out is that you have a much bigger and wide and a longer living room. So if you are someone who loves to put like a huge TV over here, I think this layout would actually be more suitable.
Interesting that how it's the same square feet, but the living room looks so much bigger.
Yes. So actually size does not always determine the actual size of the unit because ultimately it's about the efficiency of the space. Like how some of these newer projects, you have area harmonization. And even though it may seem like the size is getting smaller, but actually the sizes are getting more efficient and you actually have smaller balconies. Your aircon ledge is not part of the square footage as well.
Yeah. But actually, regardless of the floor plan, 657 square feet also achieved 1.17 million, correct? Yeah.
So if we take a look over here, 657 square feet, also about 1.17 million. 678 square feet, in fact, it was sold at 1.1 million. So the smaller unit was transacted higher than the bigger size unit.
Interesting.
This is why it's important to actually analyze the floor plan so that whenever buyers come over, you actually know what's the USP of your unit as compared to just selling it based on the size.
Yes.
Yeah. Now let's take a look at the 3-bedroom compact and the 3-bedroom premium. So the 3-bedroom compact has transacted on average about 1.57 million, and the 3-bedroom premium has transacted on average 1.83 million. So that's about do the math.
200 and
260K.
yes, around there.
Yeah, so we are seeing that the premium that people are paying for the 3-bedroom premium is about 260K. So the difference between the 3-bedroom compact and the premium is that the premium has an enclosable kitchen.
Yeah.
It also has a yard area and a utility room.
Wow, that's actually quite a big difference.
So that's probably what people pay and are willing to pay for in the resale market.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sometimes whenever buyers are looking to buy for investment, this is where we come in to advise you on how much that premium is worth in the resale market. Because we are seeing that if let's say we're looking at Treasure at Tampines, the premium is about 260K. So in terms of percentage, maybe about 30%.
So how are the performance for the 3 bedrooms?
So the 3-bedroom recent transactions for the compact on average is about 1.57 million. And the 3-bedroom premium on average is about 1.83 million, which translates to about 1,772 PSF.
Okay, but if we're looking at the PSF, actually both types perform about the same.
Yes. So we look at the profitability in the start. The average for the 3-bedroom compact and the 3-bedroom premium was about 34-35% in terms of profitability. Now let's take a look at the facing as well as the transactions for each of this unit size. 3-bedroom compact ranges from 818 square feet to 947 square feet. And that's on average about 1.57 million. And the 3-bedroom premium on average is about 1,012 square feet to 1,087 square feet. On average about 1.83 million. So we are seeing that people are willing to pay about maybe 16% higher for a utility room and a yard area.
Quantum wise, about 260, 300K, yeah.
260K lah.
Yes.
260K, 16% premium. So let's take a look at the facing. So in terms of facing, we have stack 178 that is facing towards the PIE Slip Road at 1.57 million. We have stack 199 that is facing towards the pool that transacted at 1.588 million. Again, PIE facing versus pool facing, we don't see a huge premium.
No, same.
So stack 183 also transacted at 1.57. Stack 61, this one is actually not really this one is, you get slight pool view, the small pool view.
Okay.
That is also facing towards the community center area, actually more towards the little garden on the side, from the side gate.
That can be nice too.
Yeah, so that is transacted at 1.65 million, which is the second highest. And then we have stack 182 that is facing towards the pool at 1.6 million.
Yep. And
the highest transacted was for stack 199 at 1.69 million.
Oh, interesting because stack 199 also transacted at 1.588.
Yes.
And then maybe a higher unit, 1.692.
Yes. Yeah. So we have two stack 199 here that transacted at 1.69 and 1.58.
Yeah.
So this is why we cannot just base off large transactions because we need to see in terms of floor level, in terms of facing, how much are these units transacted at and what are some of the current supply in the market that we are competing with to see how much buyers are willing to pay if let's say these are some of your competition. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's take a look at the floor plan. So we have 915 square feet versus 947 square feet. Where exactly is the difference? If you see over here, the difference is actually in the foyer area, which for some people may not be of a significant difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, because for some of them, they like that they come in and you don't see the living and dining immediately because there's this little privacy. So that's why they value the foyer area more.
Yeah.
But we don't see a significant difference in terms of transacted price. Because if we take a look at stack 199 for 947 square feet versus the other stacks over here, we are seeing that the other stacks are actually selling a little higher as well.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay. Let's take a look at the facing for the 3-bedroom premium. So for the 3-bedroom premium, none of them are actually facing towards the PIE. So we are seeing that most of these recent transactions are actually facing towards the inside, to the clubhouse as well as the pool, and 2 of the stacks are facing towards the community center. So take a look at stack 11 that transacted at 1.83 million.
Yep.
That one faced towards the community center. And we have stack 97 that is facing towards the pool at 1.86 million. And then we also have stack 93 that's facing towards the pool at 1.82 million. Stack 22 over here transacted at 1.69 million. So that was the lowest transacted one.
Yeah. Performing even close to the 3-bedroom compact.
Yeah. That was a good buy. Okay, stack 85. That was facing towards the clubhouse at 1.84. And we have the highest transaction here. That is stack 85. That is also facing towards the clubhouse at 1.88 million.
Yeah, as good as 1.9 million really.
Yes, so that is the highest transacted one over here. But we also have stack 97. Yeah, so we are seeing that all the inside facing ones are transacting a little higher than the outside facing units.
Okay.
Now let's take a look at the floor plan difference. So we have the 3-bedroom premium that is at 1033 square feet versus 1087 square feet.
Yeah.
So the main difference over here, highlighted in orange, is the foyer area. You also have a little walkway in the utility room, a little corner in the yard area, and the balcony is slightly bigger for the 1087 square feet.
Yeah. So this 54 square feet difference really just goes into like little nooks and crannies.
Yes.
Yeah. And even the yard looks slightly narrow actually for the bigger floor plate.
Yes. Plus point, you do have a little corner over here that you can put maybe your dirty laundry.
Yeah.
So sometimes layouts like this, minimal difference, buyers don't really mind the difference. But again, it depends on what the facing, the floor level is. This is where the differences are. If let's say there's minimal difference on the floor plan.
That's right.
Now, let's review the 4-bedroom transactions. So we have the 4-bedroom compact that transacted at 2.15 million and the 4-bedroom premium that transacted at 2.34 million. So people are wondering, what's the difference between the compact and the premium?
Yeah. What's the difference?
That people are willing to pay 200k more.
Yeah.
So let's review the floor plan later on. But let's take a look at the facing as well as the transactions. So for the compact, we have units ranging from 2.05 million all the way to 2.2 million. And for the premium, you have sizes or transactions ranging from 2.36 or 2.3 million all the way to 2.42 million.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at the facing. So for the 4-bedroom compact, you have units that's facing towards the PIE, you have units facing towards the pool, and you have units facing towards the Tampines lane. So let's take a look on whether or not there's a premium for the pool facing.
Yeah.
Because for some of these transacted units, we have seen that actually not all of them have a premium for the pool facing.
Yeah. Really.
Yeah. So let's take a look at Stack 154. So Stack 154 is facing towards the PIE at 2.158 million. Stack 187, 2.2 million. Okay, it's slightly higher by 50k. You have Stack 154 again that transacted at 2.08 million. Stack 7 at 2.09. Stack 171. So Stack 171 transacted at 2.05, which is actually a similar pricing to the PIE facing unit,
Yeah.
even though it's pool facing.
Yeah.
And then we have Stack 113 that is pool facing transacting at 2.2 million. So we do see that actually the pool facing unit for the 4-bedroom is transacting higher than the PIE and the road facing units.
But PIE facing not doing that bad either.
The
2.158.
premium, the premium is about maybe 50k.
Yeah.
But we're also seeing that for the pool facing unit, there was for Stack 171, it was also transacted lower than the PIE facing unit. Yeah. So I guess from here, it really depends on how you market the unit and how the buyers perceive your unit.
Yeah, that's
Because
right.
if let's say they really like privacy, they would probably go for the PIE facing unit instead. Yeah. Let's take a look at the floor plan difference. So we have the 4-bedroom compact that is 1238 versus 1270. And the only difference here, if we see, is actually just the foyer area.
Yeah. All the extra space just in that foyer area.
Yes.
Yeah.
And for the 4-bedroom compact, the bedroom 4 over here is actually slightly smaller and you cannot really fit a queen size bed. So this is where the difference is with the 4-bedroom premium. And the 4-bedroom premium also has the helper's WC.
Yeah.
As compared to the compact, it only has the yard area as a utility room, as well as a utility room, but it doesn't have the WC.
I think possibly for the 4-bedders where they have bigger families, they may need like a helper.
Yes.
Right? So I think the helper's room and the yard really
Makes a difference.
yeah, makes a difference. That's right.
Yeah. So we have sold the 4-bedroom compact and we do have families who don't have a helper and they don't need the WC. But we also had families who came and said that the WC is really important because it would suit their family better for the helper to have their own bathroom and have their own room as compared to, having to share with, the
children
families.
or the guests. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's going to be too many people sharing one bathroom. So this is the premium units. So for 4-bedroom premium, it ranges from 1281 square feet all the way to 1335 square feet. Let's take a look at the facing over here. So we are seeing that none of the unit transacted are facing towards the PIE. So you have Stack 102 at 2.32 million that was facing towards the pool. You have Stack 81 that's facing towards the pool again, 2.36 million. Stack 105 that's also facing towards the pool at 2.36. The highest, Stack 04 that's facing the pool at 2.42 million. Stack 79 that's facing the pool 2.3 million. And Stack 71 that is also facing the pool at 2.35. So let's take a look at the difference in sizes. So we have 1324 square feet here. So remember earlier for the compact, we didn't have a proper 4-bedroom. The 4th bedroom was actually really tiny.
Yeah.
You could only fit a single bed unless you remove the cabinet. Yeah.
That's right.
And then for the 1335 square feet for the 4-bedroom premium, actually in terms of the bedroom 4, it's also really small. If you see over here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's actually similar to the 4-bedroom compact.
Again, to take away the the
Yes.
wardrobe can fit a queen.
Yes. Difference here is you have a WC and your bedroom 2 as well as your master bedroom is slightly bigger as compared to the 1324 square feet.
Yep.
So actually in terms of 1324 square feet, even though the size may seem like it's smaller, but actually you have a proper 4-bedroom.
Yes.
The 4th bedroom is a proper 4th bedroom.
Yeah, can fit a queen.
Yes. And for the 1367 square feet, the main difference is as compared to the 1324 and 1335, you actually have a foyer area here so that when you come in, you can put like your foyer, entrance foyer welcome table. Your utility room is actually hackable. So for those of you who don't have helper, and for those buyers out there who don't have helper and you actually want a bigger living and dining space, maybe this could be a suitable layout where you can hack off your utility room and have a really huge dining area for hosting.
Yeah. And having a hackable utility room like right next to the dining room and living room actually is
It's a plus
pretty
point.
plus point because you can add in an aircon if you want to as well and turn it into a small study.
Yes.
Yeah. Whereas if in the yard,
could
it's
be
a bit
4
hard
plus
to.
study.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Some of the new launches these days, they actually would put this as a study room and they would market it as a flexi
space, right?
Yeah, as a flexi space. So for those of you who don't have helper and you want to convert this into a study room, there's the flexibility to do that because if you're looking at the 1324 and 1335, that one doesn't have a flexible utility room where you can hack off and convert into, a study room.
Yes.
So this is sometimes where buyers are willing to pay the premium for. Okay. Let's take a look at the 5 bedrooms. The most what unit size. So 5-bedroom on average transacted at about 2.82 million last year. On average, 1650 PSF. And if we take a look at the facing, so all of the 5-bedroom facing are facing towards the pool. We have unit sizes ranging from 1668 all the way to 1722 square feet.
Yeah. And all the sales seem to be congregated around the same area.
Yeah. So it's all the stacks in yellow.
Yes.
Yes. Let's take a look at the floor plan. So for the 5-bedroom is stack 101 at 1690 square feet. This is the floor plan here. There's a slightly bigger one at 1712 for stack 100. So the main difference here is actually in the bedroom 3 and the bedroom 2.
Yeah.
So if we take a look over here for stack 101. Stack 101, the balcony goes all the way to bedroom 3 and bedroom 2. But for this stack in stack 100, the space goes to the bedroom 2 and bedroom 3. And if we take a look at 5-bedroom for 1722 square feet, the slight difference here is also in bedroom 2 and bedroom 3.
Yeah. I would say that I see that the balcony for the stack 101, the balcony also stretches across all 3 bedrooms. Bedroom 2, bedroom 3 and bedroom 4. Whereas the balcony for 1712 square feet and 1722 square feet,
It's separated to the master bedroom.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
And actually some people
do prefer having a master bedroom balcony.
That's right.
Yes. So it depends for those families, with kids who likes the balconies, maybe 1690 square feet. But for those families, who don't want the kids to have the balcony and they want the balcony to themselves for parents, maybe 1712 and 1722.
Yeah.
All right, now let's take a look at the surrounding transactions because buyers who are looking at treasures at Tampines, they may also be comparing to some of the surrounding listings in the area.
That's right. Maybe something a little older, they wouldn't mind. Yeah.
Yes. So looking at some of the surrounding projects, we have projects like My Manhattan, City Life at Tampines and Tampines Trillion.
Yeah, and these two are executive condos.
Yes, City Life and Tampines Trillion are actually ECs. And the plus point is they are a little closer to Tampines MRT as well as the 3 major malls in Tampines.
Yep.
So taking a look at My Manhattan is actually located closer to CMA MRT across East Point Mall. And Tampines Trillion and City Life, if you see over here, is closer towards the Tampines interchange. And they are much closer to Tampines MRT as compared to Treasure at Tampines. So this is where the differences are. So looking at the unit size difference, we want to see what are some of the comparisons that we have in the market if let's say a buyer is looking at your unit size. So for 1 bed, 1 bath, there is no 1 bed, 1 bath in City Life as well as Trillion. So the only comparison that we are looking at would be My Manhattan. which if we take a look at the transactions there, on average, it's also transacting at 835K. For a 2-bed, 2-bath, there is no 2-bed, 1-bath in City Life. There's no 2-bed, 1-bath in Trillion as well as my Manhattan.
Yep.
So minimally, the sizes there are about 2-bed, 2-bath. So City Life on average, 786 square feet. For a 2-bed, 2-bath, is about 1.27 million.
Yep.
For my Manhattan, it's about 1.4 million. And if we take a look at the price of Treasure at Tampines, the average for the 2-bed, 2-bath is about 1.119.
Okay.
Yeah. But of course, the slight difference here is on the size.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
Treasure at Tampines is slightly smaller than City Life as well as my Manhattan.
yeah, you do get a 2-bed, 2-bath functionally at 1.2 million. If that's your affordability, that's fine. If you want a bigger space, then maybe my Manhattan.
So over here, we have 3-bedroom compact. The only comparison here would be Tampines Trillion, because for City Life, you're looking at minimally a 3-bedroom premium. So for 3-bedroom compact in Tampines Trillion, it's really a compact 3-bedroom. So in terms of pricing, it is much cheaper than Treasure at Tampines. So maybe it's not a direct comparison, because for 872 square feet, the 3rd bedroom is actually also really small. So we are looking at average of 1.37 for Tampines Trillion for 3-bedroom compact.
So you're saying it probably can fit like a single bed instead of a queen.
Let's take a look at the 3-bedroom premium. So the 3-bedroom premium in mine and Manhattan on average is about 1086 to 1152 square feet, transacting on average about 1.81 million. Tampines Trillion on average is about 1000 to 1130 square feet, on average is about 1.65 million. And City Life on average is about 1098 to 1281 square feet, transacting on average about 1.71 million. And if we take a look at Treasure at Tampines' pricing, on average, they're transacting about 1.77 million. This one is really interesting because if we take a look at the quantum, nowadays people are always comparing, hey, PSF-wise it's so high, right? But if we take a look and we did a study on Treasure at Tampines, we are seeing, hey, how come Treasure at Tampines at that time, even though PSF is slightly higher, why is it that they are still able to perform so well?
Yeah.
Was because in terms of quantum, if we take a look at some of these surrounding projects, Tampines Trillion and City Life, they're in EC, and they're actually older at Treasure and Tampines.
Yeah.
But in terms of quantum, they're transacting at a similar quantum. As well as my Manhattan that already TOP'd from 2012, and Treasure at Tampines TOP 2023. So that's a 10 years gap.
Yeah.
Yet the quantum is actually about the same and even cheaper than my Manhattan for Treasure at Tampines.
Yeah. I think that kind of makes sense because when people are looking for like a 3-bedder or 2-bedder or 4-bedder, they will put in their budget. They won't put in like a target PSF. Yeah.
Yes. So sometimes PSF may seem high, but in terms of quantum, it actually is very affordable. So we look at projects like Emerald of Katong. Why is it that Emerald of Katong was able to perform so well? It's because of a quantum play. So this was why Treasure at Tampines was also able to perform well, even though PSF may seem like it's slightly higher. It's because quantum-wise, even though it's a newer project, older projects are actually performing at about the same pricing. Yeah, which makes it a lot more affordable for buyers who are looking for something that's newer.
Yeah. Okay, so let's now take a look at the 4 bedrooms.
Yes, so for my Manhattan, on average, it's about 1.88 million. With Tampines Trillion, that is on average about 2.25, and City Life transactions on average about 1.97 million. And for 4-bedroom compact in Treasure at Tampines, on average, earlier was about 2.1 million to 2.15, and for the 4-bedroom premium, it's about 2.3 to 2.35 million. So depending on which unit size for the compact or the premium you're looking at, this is where Treasure at Tampines 4-bedroom stands in the car market compared to some of the surrounding listings. But we are seeing that Tampines Trillion is currently on the higher side compared to City Life and my Manhattan in terms of the surrounding resale options.
Right. Actually, so looking at the prices, 4-bedroom at Treasure at Tampines, actually the price is considered quite fair, right? Compared to the other condos in the area, which are some up to 10 years old already.
Yeah, so my Manhattan is already about TOP since 2012, so it's already about 10 to 13 years old. We have Trillion and City Life, that's an EC, that's already transacting at about the same price as Treasure at Tampines. So where Treasure at Tampines stands compared to some of the surrounding listings is that it's currently the newest, and it's a condo. Actually, walking distance to MRT, you can still walk to Simei MRT. If depending on where your block is, some of them you may be a little far because Treasure at Tampines is really big. So depending on where your block is, some of them you're actually really close to Simei MRT.
Yeah, but you do get the convenience of the wet market and the hawker center.
On the other side.
Every day you get good food.
Yes. All right, thank you so much for staying till the end of our first episode of the Price It series. We hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about Treasure at Tampines.
Yes, and if you are currently an owner of Treasure at Tampines and looking to potentially sell your home and you want to find out a valuation or how G&A can help you get that best price possible, feel free to reach out at this QR code, just scan it, and we will reach out to you immediately.
Thank you so much. My name is Geraldine.
My name is Lucas.
See you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.